Bluetti is a brand that specializes in clean energy solutions, particularly portable power stations and solar panels. Since 2019, Bluetti has gained recognition for its high-quality, durable, and compact designs, and today we're going to be taking a look at the PS72, which is a great example of that. So let's get this thing out of the box and check it out. Hey everybody, it's Chris from FamilyGeekery, and today we're going to be checking out this Bluetti PS72. And I know this isn't the newest power station on the market, but I like to do these reviews on these machines that are late in their life, just in case you find one for a real good deal on eBay, or you find one locally for sale. And at least you have a recent updated review to see if this is maybe something that would work good for you. And Bluetti is a great name. One of the first power stations I ever bought was the Bluetti, and that's what kind of got me into this hobby. So I'm excited to test this thing out. So let's take a look at what we get. Inside the box was, of course, the power station, and then we've got a box full of accessories, and then of course the user manual. And we're going to be going through all the different specs and features and testing them out, but let's see what's inside this accessory box first. I'm sure there's some charging cables, and yep, we've got a DC7909 to MC4 cable, so this will be for charging from some solar panels. We've got a AC adapter that's going to go to the charger. We've got a cigarette lighter plug to DC7909 so you can charge this in your car. And then here is the charger itself. So in this particular model we've got an external AC charger. So we got this charger here that's going to plug into the front, and then this is the AC cable for it. And so we're basically looking at charging everything right through this input port here. And we'll talk about all the specs as to how many volts and watts and all that good stuff it can do. But let's take a quick tour around the device itself. So in this model, we got basically all of our inputs and outputs right here in front. There is a light in the back that we'll take a look at, and there's a wireless charging on the top here. But all of our inputs and outputs are right front and center. So we're starting off with 5 AC ports, which have an output of 700 watts shared between those. And it's got an individual power control over here to turn that inverter on or off. We've got a DC port over here, 12 volts, 10 amps, basically your cigarette lighter plug underneath the little dust cap here. We've got two additional DC plugs here, so if you have devices that run right off of 12 volts, you can just get the appropriate cable to go right from that to those devices, and those are popular for things like routers and Wi-Fi modems, that kind of stuff. Then we got two USB-A's, which are 5 volts, 3 amps, and then two USB-C's, which are power delivery 100 watts. And I believe that's 100 watts on either of these ports, probably 100 watts combined. We'll plug a couple things into them and see what we can get out of it. And this whole DC section here is also part of the main power button, which turns on the screen. And then we've got our DC7909 input port over here, which is going to be, like I showed you, for the AC input, the DC input, or your solar panels. And that's good for 12 to 28 volts DC, 200 watts max. So let's flip this thing around and take a look at that light that's built into it. Using its nice little two-piece carrying handle design here. So we've got a big light on the back here, so if you're camping or you have a power outage, just gives you a little option here of having something built into it. And I believe it's got 3 functions. If we turn it on once, it's at regular brightness. Push it again, it gets a little bit brighter, and then push it a third time and it goes into an SOS strobe. Push it again to turn it off. So very sleek, simple design. Everything's right on one side. Sometimes people like everything right in front of you and you don't have to reach behind to change cables. Sometimes people like to have, you know, the inputs on a different side than the outputs. But the bottom line is you're probably using this either for camping or for emergency power outage. And at that point, I don't really care where the ports are. I just want to make sure they work. So speaking of making sure it works, let's go ahead and get the AC adapter plugged in here and we'll check out how it charges. Alright, so let's talk about the AC charging on this unit. And like I showed you, it comes with its own AC charger here, which is 25.2 volts at 8 amps. That's listed on the bottom. And some people like having an external charger so it keeps the weight of the charger out of the station itself, and also keeps some of the heat generation that happens from charging out of the station itself. And some people just like the convenience of having everything rolled into one, so you just plug one cable in. So it's usually just a matter of preference. But as you can see here, we got a green light. I got this plugged in. You might be able to hear a fan This is actually, looks like it's going to be blowing full time as this thing is turned on. So let's go ahead and plug in the DC7909 connector into the front here. And that has woke up the station here. It's going to start charging. And there's a fan also in here that you might be able to hear. But right away we've got 193 watts coming in. So at about 200 watts of charging from each of the different sources, it would take about 3.5 hours to fully charge this station from 0 all the way up to full. And that's one of the things we haven't talked about yet, is the battery capacity. This unit has 716 watt hours of lithium iron phosphate batteries. So 716 puts it kind of in that, what I'd call, middle ground section of in between the really small portable units and the really big, 1,000 watt hour plus units. And a lot of people like this kind of middle ground, this 600 to 700 watt hours. And that's a pretty decent amount of battery for this size. And that's because probably we're keeping part of the electronics outside of the case itself. So 716 watt hours, like I said, at 200 watts, it'll take about 3.5 to 4 hours to charge it up completely. Some of the newer stations that we have on the market today charge up a lot quicker, but on a lot of those you probably want to slow down the charging on them just to be a little bit easier on the batteries. And like I said, these are lithium iron phosphate batteries, so you're going to get thousands and thousands of cycles on them before they start degrading any. So we are up and charging. Now it makes it easy that you have one port to charge from everything, and it's easy to remember what the specs are because they're listed right on the front here. 12 to 28 volts, 8 amps max. So if you're looking at solar panels, you want to make sure they fall within that. When you plug it into your car, it's obviously going to be 12 volts at 8 amps max, so you're probably going to be charging at about 100 watts coming in from a car. But if you have a 24 volt system, maybe in your RV or something, then it will take that full 24 volts at 8 amps and charge at 200 watts. So now that we got it charging, the next thing I want to do is get something plugged into the AC side, and we're going to test the output, but we're also going to see if it allows for pass-through charging. So let me grab something to plug in, and I'll be right back. Alright, so we're still charging along at about 200 watts coming in. I've got a little space heater here plugged in, and I'm going to turn that on in a second. So let's turn on the AC inverter first. And this has two modes. I'm going to put it into low first. And we are drawing 250 watts out, no problem. Still charging and outputting. Now I'm not sure if this has pass-through charging or not. We're going to test that in just a minute. But let's go ahead and crank this up to the high speed here. And now we are drawing 500 watts, still charging at 200 watts, and everything seems to be working just fine. So let me go ahead and turn off the heater real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get a power meter to put on the input side of this to see if pass-through charging is an option. So let me get that set up and I'll be right back. Alright, so what I've done is I've taken this power meter here and put it on the input of the charger, and you can see now the efficiency, or rather inefficiency, of the charger. We're drawing 225 watts out of the wall, and it's giving us 200 watts of charging. Now that's common, that going from AC to DC you're going to lose some efficiency. That's only, about 12% efficiency loss, so that's not too bad. So what I'm going to do now is turn this heater back on and see if more power gets drawn from the wall, which would mean that it's pass-through charging this device, or powering this device from the wall and still charging the batteries at the same time. If this doesn't go up, then it means that all of this power is coming from the batteries, and the batteries are still getting charged up, but if you have more power being drawn than you do have charging coming in, then obviously you're going to run out of battery at some point. So let's turn this on. Wake up the screen again. And there we've got our 250 watts coming out, and the wall is staying the same. So this pass-through charging is something that is a little bit more common on modern power stations, but obviously not a feature of this particular one. So with that in mind, if you are charging and discharging, maybe you've got solar panels coming in and you've got 150 watts of solar panels coming in, and you are using some power from your station, just be mindful of the fact that if you draw more than you produce, then you are eventually going to drain the batteries out. Alright, so we tested out the AC ports here. Let's go ahead and grab something to test these DC ports. Alright, so I've unplugged the power just to keep that fan from blowing, and I've brought over this Anker Solix C300 DC, and I'm going to be using that to test the output of these USB-C ports here, and that's because it'll tell me right on the screen how many watts of input it has. So let's go ahead and take our first cable here, and obviously if the port is capable of 100 watts, you want to make sure you're using a cable that's rated at least 100 watts. That's not always a given. So let's go ahead and plug that into one of the input ports here on the anchor. And it's waking up, and it's showing on here 94 watts. So we got 94 watts coming out of this right away. And we do have a fan that just kicked on in here. So whatever it's doing to generate that 100 watts must be warming something up enough that that fan's going to kick on. So what I'm going to do next, since this is capable of charging in at 2 ports at least 100 watts each, I'm going to plug the second one in and see what happens. Now sometimes if this is shared 100 watts, it's going to renegotiate with whatever it's charging, and it's going to try to split that up. That's normally how these things work. If it's capable of 100 watts out of each, then it'll show us on here that it's getting about 200 watts in. So let's plug in our second cable and plug this in here. And it didn't take long to renegotiate. It's coming in at 185 watts. So it is normal to have a little bit of loss between the charger and the charged device. So 185 watts, that's pretty darn close to that 200 watts that we thought this thing might be capable of, and it looks like it is. And that's always something that the books don't necessarily say. It just says on here, USB-C, 100 watts max, and then it talks about the different voltages of power delivery that it's capable of. But it's definitely capable of more than just 100 watts max. So that's pretty impressive for, again, something that's this old that may not have all the features of the newest ones. That's definitely a nice feature to have, so you can be charging up a laptop and charging up some other device like a portable power station or a smaller power bank. So bonus points for that. Now as far as the USB-A's go, they're rated at 5 volts, 3 amps. I'm going to believe that's true. I don't need to test that. So let's go ahead and grab something to test the DC output port here, and I'll be right back. Alright, so after I unplugged those USB-C cables, it took about 8 seconds for this fan to shut off, so that's pretty good. Must be pretty efficient at cooling. So to test this out, the easiest way again is just to output from here right into this anchor. And again, use the anchor screen to show us how much it's charging at. So I'm going to use this 12 volt to XT60 cable to basically charge through the solar connector here and let it tell us how many watts it's bringing in. And right away we got 97 watts coming in here. Fan did kick back on, but 12 volts at 8 amps, we're always going to approximate that at about 100 watts out. So it is definitely capable of that. And then the last output we have is this charger up here, wireless charger on top, which you can't see, but if I lean this towards you, you can see it says 15 watts output. And that's not a necessity, but it's a nice little feature that if you need to charge up your phone and you don't have your cable with you, you just grab your phone, slap it on top, and as long as this DC circuit here is turned on, I can see now that my little charging indicator just came on my iPhone. So good to go. So we've tested everything basically except for the solar input, but like I said, it's basically going to be the same specs as your AC or DC input. And I'll leave a link down below to some compatible solar panels in case you have this station and you want to find a pair of solar panels that's going to be able to maximize that 200 watts input. So let's go ahead and clean some of this up, and I'll come back with some final thoughts. Alright, so I always like to summarize things up with some final thoughts on these different power stations. And we walked into this review knowing that this was not the newest machine in the world, and it may be lacking some features, but it just comes down to user preference. If you just need to know that you've got backup power or portable power that's good to go, AC, DC, with some solar input capability, then obviously this fits all those bills. Does it have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi so you can see it charging on the phone? No, it doesn't have that. Can you charge it at 500 or 600 watts coming into it? Nope, just 200 watts. And that's really going to be one of those things that you have to look at your use case. Is this something that you're going to have charged up somewhere and keep it in the closet? And if the power goes out, you have a way of keeping your Wi-Fi on and keeping your devices charged up or keeping your TV turned on? Then this is going to do all those things. If this is something that you need to use a whole lot of power on really quick, maybe at a work site, you're using some drills or something like that, and you need to be able to charge it up real quick off of a generator and then get it back out to work again, then yes, you may want something that charges up a little bit quicker than 200 watts. But for most people, this thing's going to be completely fine for camping, for emergency backup, or for just portable power in the car. So if you're looking at buying one of these, and that's why you're watching this video, maybe you found one used or you found one, refurbished or something, then I hope this review was helpful in making that decision if this is going to be something that works for you. If you've got any questions about it or any of the features, go ahead and drop those down in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. If you own one of these and have any comments about long-term ownership, go ahead and drop those down there too. But if this video was helpful to you, I would appreciate a thumbs up. That helps out the channel. Go ahead and check out the rest of the channel. I've got lots of reviews on other power stations. There's a couple other reviews on Bluettis that I've tested over the years, so go check those out. That's going to wrap it up for this one. I appreciate you for watching, and until next time, peace out and geek out.